So you are going to create a form in HTML. To do that, you have to open your form tag, then you put your action. After action, you put method. Then for your method, you will put either post or get, but I'm putting post. Then you can either add autocomplete. That's, you can either on autocomplete or fit. For example, if you go to some site and you want to fill in, you figure out to just bring out options based on your previous entry. That's for autocomplete. So you type autocomplete, then on, then you close it. After that, you come here again, then you close your main form tag by doing this. Now, as you can see, after refreshing my page, there's nothing there. That's because I've not added the main content. Now, to collect user inputs in HTML, you use your input tag in between the form tag. So now, for our first input tag, we'll say input, then you say type. Okay. Input, then you say the type is equals to. Now there are different types of input. You have telephone input, phone number input, which is the same as telephone. You have email, you have password, you have text. So for username, I'll be using text. So now, after you say input type text, you give it a name. My name will be uname. Can you see? The name will be uname. So now you close it. Before that, add your placeholder. The function of the placeholder is to give the user a hint of what is typing or what is supposed to type there. So my placeholder here will be enter your username. So now if I refresh my HTML page, you should see it to show input form. Can you see my input here? Enter your username. So now this is strictly for text. You can type almost anything there. So now we move to the phone number. That's for telephone. So you follow the same procedure. Input type, but this time around, instead of it to be text, you put tel. That's tel for telephone. So you say then so now if you see, if I refresh, you see there's another one there again. Enter your phone number. Can you see? After enter your username, enter your phone number. So this one is for phone number. If you type text, it will go there, but when you're passing it to your normally, when you use it like this on Android phones, it will bring out that's your numeric keypad instead of your full normal keypad. So now for email, you say input type, then email. So input type email, then you give it a name again. My name here will be mail. Then enter your email. So now, as you can see, if I turn it again, can you see the next form? Enter your email. Now let's leave our input, then move to radio. So have you ever been to a site and they will tell you to select your sex? Then there will be two options there, two circles there. One will be male, the other will be female. Then if you pick one, the other one will be unshaded. So that's your radio. Then the square ones, that they tell you to select multiple choice, that's your checkbox. So now for your set you'll be using radio, not multiple choice. So for your radio, you say you just type radio. Can you see? This is my radio here. So now you can see if I tick it to tick. That's what a radio looks like. So now we'll clone it twice. Your radio does not have placeholder. You use either your A tag or your label to add text for it, which I will do later. Let me just create the second one for female. So now in front of your first input tag there, you can say A, then you type male. You close your A tag again, and for your female, then for your second one you say female. So now you see there's female and there's male. You cannot select multiple. That means you can't select male and female simultaneously for radio. But for checkbox you can select as many as you want. Can you see? When I select one, the other one will vanish. Can you see? Meaning you can only select one option for radio box. So now let's add our input type for dates now. Now if you were to collect user's date of birth, say, then you say date. Instead of text or radio you type date. Then you say age. So now you can also add your sorry, I made a mistake. This one too, placeholder does not apply for it, so you add your label. You use label for, or you just use the A tag again. So now after putting all the necessary fields for your form, you now say input type, that's submit, that's for the button. So say input type, then we call it submit. Then the name too, you give it submit. Can you see our submit is there? I made a mistake actually, sorry. Now you can see our submit is there. Now I know you are wondering why is everything scrambled up like this. To space it, you can either use your div and the help of some CSS, but now you do that later. But for now, to space them, you can just use the br tag, that's for line break in HTML. You just do it like this, then br. So automatically this will tell HTML to space the elements by one line. So now if I refresh, everything should be in a straight line. Can you see? So now let me explain what each one of these does for you. You see the first one, which is your username. You see the type is text. In that text field, you can type anything there, whatever you want, including characters or whatever, depending on what the user is supposed to type there. For your phone number, that's your digits, that's your 0 blah 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 and things like that for your phone number. Then you see for your email, so for your email, if the user does not type a correct email, it won't go. For example, now you can't just type this in your email field then click submit. For example, can you see? Please include an @ in the mail address, meaning your email must always end with whatever and whatever at whatever.com. So for example, now let's say my email is this at gmail.com. Now if I submit this form, you figure out it will go. Can you see it went? Good. So now there's also a clue. What if you want to force your user to fill a field before submitting your form? To do that, use the required tag in the input type. So if I want to force user to type username, say required. So now automatically this will tell HTML that the user does not fill that form, the user cannot submit it. So now see, I'll fill the phone number. Let me just type random stuff there. Select for the mail, then your email too. Let me see, my email is 324@gmail.com. Then I select date of birth. For the date of birth, it will either tell you to input your date of birth. DD stands for day, MM stands for month, YYY stands for your year. So now you can either do that or just tap this calendar icon, then to bring out calendar for you. Then you navigate in your calendar and select the day you want to select. So now I've selected mine. Now if I press submit, it will prompt me that I should fill out that field, because I told it the user must fill out that field. That means it's required. So now if I fill out the field and I click submit again, it will go, because all the necessary requirements must have been met. So normally when you are creating a form that includes collecting passwords and email, you must put the password as required, you must put the email as required, because a user cannot sign up for a product or sign up for a site and at the end of the day the user won't provide password. So you must add required to them. So you can also use this for any other thing that you feel the user must submit. You know, some sites they can ask you to set your username initially when you first start, or you set it up later. So you can use it in cases like that. So now there's another thing about this thing. So now I will change this post to get, so I can show you something about your form and handling your form values. So I'll just type in random strings as usual, then I'll say d@gmail.com, then I'll select mail, and of course just pick any dates. So now let me make this full screen so you can see what I want to do. Now if you notice, our URL here, that's the URL to our page here, is normal. Can you see? The URL to our page is normal, but as soon as I click submit, okay, I've not refreshed it. Let me refresh. So let's do that again. I put in my username, then phone number, email, then sex, and then date. So now if you see, our URL is normal here, but as soon as I click submit, some values are passed to the URL. So if you notice, exactly what I typed in the username form field is what is here. Then phone number, mail, and the sex. Can you see? So now the thing here is that when you are using a get method to send your value on websites, everything you send through that form, or everything that has been sent through that form, will be visible on your header URL here, meaning anybody can just see it and modify it, then send the request. For example, now here that the mail is 2345678 anybody can just come there and decide to change it without even filling your form. But if you use your post method, now let me change this back to post. So if I refresh this now, let me just clear this up. So now I fill the form. Now you know it's in post mode now. Now if I send these things, you see there's nothing at the top of the URL, meaning it handled them secretly. You cannot see what was passed, how it was passed, or what value was passed. So that's the difference between your post and get method. Your get method will make everything visible at the top of your URL here, but your post method will send it secretly. That means you won't see it. You will send it secretly like that. So now there's also something here I forgot to tell you. For your radio, unlike your input form, you know your normal input is what the user types in there you want to collect. But unlike your radio, you know your radio, it's just like you shading, but the user just shaded. You don't know what the user shade. So now for my first input, for my first radio that I said mail, I will now add value, meaning you predefine the value of it, so that when the user picks that one, you know that okay, this is what the user picked. When the user picked the other one, you know okay, this is what the guy picked. So now I'll set my value to be mail. So now if I set my value to the mail, as soon as the user selects mail, that radio checkbox label mail, if he selects it and he submits the form, the value mail will be passed automatically to the back end. So you must always predefine this value for your radio or check boxes. because without that there's no way your HTML will know what is supposed to pass, and there's no way you will know what the user selected out of your checkboxes. So now you do the same for the female checkbox, and you name it, you change it to female, you change the value to female. So can you see I've done it for both? So now if I go back, let me set it to get, so you can see it also sends the values for the radio. So I'll change this to get. Now let's go back to our Chrome and refresh. So now as usual, let's just type in our username, then our phone number, then our email. Then now you see here that I was telling you you have to predefine the value that is going to be sent to the backend. Now I'll select mail, then here you just input your random dates. So now if I click submit, if you look up here, you see sex equals mail. That's the value I predefined. Unlike the input form, you know it's the user that will type username, phone number, email. But here you predefined it, then labeled it, so the user will know that okay, if I select this, this is what the system will be told that I am. So now let's go back. So if you have taught you about the required, that's to make everything required. So there are also different types of inputs that you can figure out, but these are the ones you use the most. There are different types. There's hidden inputs and things like that. So your work is to go and make research on those types. So that will be all for your HTML input types.